Good afternoon. Welcome to another section of Cooking with Rex. What my intention with this series is to get you out of the drive-thru and into your kitchen. Tonight what we're going to demonstrate is how to make a classic Chinese takeout dinner. As you can look in front of me, I have all the fixings for a really good stir fry. What we're going to do is review some of these items with you, talk about what you are going to need in your pantry, and then demonstrate how to make a quick, healthy, fresh stir fry every night at your home in less than 30 minutes. So let's start by talking about some pantry items. I have here some condiment items and sauces that I think every house should have in your refrigerator. A simple sweet and sour sauce. I have here a teriyaki. Of course, soy sauce is probably already in your pantry. For me, I love Thai peanut. I love spicy Thai peanut. You can get a peanut sauce at any local grocery store. If you're a hot and spicy fan, of course, sriracha. If you do not have sesame oil in your home, please pick up a bottle of it. We don't use it to stir fry with. Sesame oil is seasoning. It really gives you that umami. There's going to be a couple of steps that we're going to review today in regards to making your stir fry. Some of these you might skip if you've done this in the past. And if you take these steps, I guarantee you that your stir fry will be just as good as anything that you can get at a Chinese restaurant. If you look here, the vegetables that we have in front of us, don't get caught up on what I've got for vegetables. That's really up to you. We're in the middle of March right now, so I'm really restricted to what I can get at my grocery store. Once I get into the summertime, I really enjoy going to the farmer's market, pick out what's fresh that week. I cook a meal like this a few times a night in the summer, or a few times a week, in the summertime, just because the vegetables are so plentiful and fresh. I also have a couple of different meats here. I have a steak and a chicken that we could choose from. The steak, what I've done here with this steak is I just picked up some sandwich steaks right from the butcher department in the grocery store. Thin sliced them a little bit and got them ready for a stir fry. The same with the chicken breast, pretty self-explanatory. Nice boneless, skinless chicken breast. I sliced it thin, ready for the stir fry. A thin slice on your meat is essential for proper cooking and to really absorb those flavors of the stir fry. So let's jump right in to getting our vegetables prepped and ready for the stir fry. Don't get caught up on how daunting this task may be to prep all these vegetables up. If you go to your grocery store, they also have bags of mixed vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, stir fry blends, already prepped broccoli, cauliflower, that you can purchase. They're very affordable and it will save you a little prep work. So one of the first things that I want to do in prepping my stir fry is I want to blanch some of my vegetables. What blanching means is I want to start a cooking process and I want to stop a cooking process. That's going to allow me to cook some of these vegetables a little bit so they're nice and crisp, tender at the end of the stir fry without being raw. So that step is very simple. I've got here some already boiling water, and this process is really quick. We're going to drop the vegetables in the boiling water. We're going to give them a quick stir. We're going to get them out of the boiling water and rinse them in some water to stop that cooking process. So I'm going to take a few of my broccoli. I'm going to get them right in this boiling water. I'm going to take a few of my snow peas. I love snow peas. Put them in my water. And these carrots, I'm going to get those in there. They're a little crisp to go. The rest of these are all going to go directly in the stir fry. Again, really quick. Just going to start the cooking process in some boiling water here. Get these things started. And we're going to pull them, rinse them in some cold water, and stop that cooking process. If we don't rinse them in some cold water, what's going to happen is they're going to continue to cook on their own, and we will have an overcooked vegetable when we stir fry. So one moment while I go and rinse these vegetables. I'm back. As you can see, these are the vegetables that I blanched. They're rinsed cool, and you see that because I stopped the cooking process, they've retained a lot of their bright green and fresh and vibrant color. Now when I stir fry them, we won't have that raw center. That stir fry now is going to give us a nice, really great, crisp and tender vegetable. On my stir fry here, there's a couple of different pans you can use for a stir fry. Right here is a traditional wok. If you don't have one, you can find one of these at a box department store for under $10. They're great to use, little limited use, and they're very hard to take care of. What I'm going to show you today is how to do a stir fry right in a saute pan that you probably already have in your cupboard. This will give you the same effect as a stir fry. If you really start doing this often, please feel free to move up to a wok or use your wok if you have one. The first thing you want to do is always preheat your pan. We've got our pan nice and hot. A simple vegetable oil on the bottom of your pan is going to be great. We're going to use a lot of this oil. You can always add oil if you think it's a little bit too less or you need some more moisture in there with the pan. It's much easier to add a little oil than it is to try to take it away during the cooking process. Okay, first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cook my meat first. The reason I like to cook the meat first is let's get it done, let's get our raw products off from our cupboard, and that cooking that meat is going to embark a little of that flavor right in the pan that we're going to want later for our stir fry. So I'm going to choose the steak that I have here. We're going to set this raw chicken off now that we're going to start having some cooked food. I'm going to choose a steak today. My pan is nice and hot. I can see that my oil is hot. If you're ever wondering if your pan is hot enough, a little dip of liquid and see if it will sizzle in the pan. That's going to let you know that your pan is really hot. We're going to deal with high heats right now because that's the whole method of a stir fry. Okay, so I have my meat. Just going to get it in the pan and give it a good once around. We want to get the meat nice and spread out so that it's cooking evenly all the sides. Not a big clump of meat in here. I hope I'm not giving Dan Imhoff a heart attack while doing this. That's a story between me and Dan. It's kind of a funny one. Ask him about it sometime. So here we go. I'm getting my meat browned up a little bit. As you can see, we're not burning our meat, but we're browning our meat. That's called the Maillard effect. I'll tell you that in another cooking show. We don't have to worry about overcooking this meat at this point in time because we are going to continue to cook this again. If you're cooking chicken, make sure you thoroughly cook your chicken at this stage. With the red meat, I like to get my red meat about medium rare at this stage, knowing that I'm going to cook it a little bit more after that. Voila, my meat is done and ready to go. And you can see what I have here in the bottom of this pan is what I want to start the flavoring for my stir fry. Again, I'm working with really, really high heats. You want to continue to stir fry on high heat. If you feel that you're losing control of your stir fry, don't turn your heat down. Remove your pan from the heat and then be able to bring it back to high heat. That allows you to cool it down a little bit without cooling down your burner. So I have the bits in the bottom of the pan, and I added a little bit more oil to it because now we're going to start cooking our vegetables. This process goes really, really fast. As you can see, this is going to be a meal that you can cook in your home in under a half an hour. I'm going to start with my celery and onions. Okay, I did a little bias cut on these onions, so they're not really, or onions and celery, so they're not really thick and stringy. Just gonna give these, we're gonna let these sweat a little bit. So what we're looking at is for these to get a little translucent. Translucent, like if you can imagine a cup is a translucent cup. We started this off. You see it's picking up a little bit of those brown bits from that beef. Now I'm going to add my mushrooms. Okay? Mushrooms are a sponge. They're going to absorb a lot of the moisture that's in your stir fry right now. So this may be a stage where you're going to add a little bit more oil if you feel necessary. See how that pan went dry really, really quick? I'm going to choose to add just a little bit more oil, not a lot. And then this is where I'm going to season. We're going to do two steps. We're going to sauce and we're going to season. They're not the same thing. We want to season this stir fry before we hit the sauce. I'll talk more about the sauce later. I have a stir fry seasoning that we use here at Southwest Tech. It's our own blend. You can get a stir fry season mix at any grocery store. They come in a packet. There's a lot of good spices in there. That's generally good for a few stir fries. Good to have in your pantry. So now we have a little bit of season going on here. My pan's nice and hot. It looks like I've got a good start on my mushrooms and celery. Now I'm going to add my garlic. I didn't add my garlic at the beginning. We add that a little later. Garlic burns. Always finish your stir fry with your garlic. Don't add it at the beginning. I have a little peppers here. These are sweet peppers. They're not going to add any heat. They're just going to add some color and a little depth to what we're doing. I'm looking at my stir fry here. I think it's a little dry. A little bit more shot of water in there. Let that garlic and those peppers just cook briefly. Now is when we're going to add in our blanched vegetables. Again, these are already cooked. These are already cooked, ready to go. All we need to do is get these up to temperature a little bit. Get them in that stir fry. I'm taking a look at it. I know from experience right now I need to add a little bit more seasoning to that. Don't be afraid to give this a taste at any given stage. Okay, this is just nice and beautiful. Boy, this looks good. Smells good too. Boy, it smells good. All right, so now we've got peppers, I've got snow peas, I've got broccoli, I've got carrots, I've got, what else do I have? Mushrooms, peppers. Right here I have a little bok choy. I want a little fresh crunch. This is something that we're going to put in right at the end when we sauce, because this will cook down really quick. So we kind of want to finish this. Another thing would be bean sprouts. If you have bean sprouts in your area, something crisp, something like that is always great in a stir fry. Next step, I'm going to add my meat back in to this pan. We've already seasoned the beef, correct? We've already seasoned the vegetables. Now it's time to sauce everything up. I use a basic stir fry sauce. You can buy them at the store. But what I do is I create one with the ingredients I have in my pantry. So the stir fry sauce that I have here is 1 part sweet and sour, 1 part teriyaki to 2 parts soy sauce. That allows you to have a really good stir fry seasoning that you can add other flavors to as you go. Otherwise, you can look right in your grocery store and you will be able to find a stir fry seasoning sauce. Now, one of the reasons that we are going to finish this dish with the stir fry sauce as opposed to it being on the earlier, this has got a lot of sugar in it. If we stir fry a long time with this sauce in there, it's going to burn. You're going to get a little bit of a bitter taste to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish, so to say, with this sauce. So I'm going to take, for this amount, I think about 1/4 cup of sauce is going to be appropriate for that. Perfect. Wait. Okay, that's a 1/4 cup. We're just gonna give it a little stir fry around. See how, oh boy, does this smell good. See how that gives you that nice rich brown stock that you're used to seeing in a stir fry. Voila, this is done. This is where I'm gonna finish this with this nice, fresh, crisp bok choy. We're not gonna let this cook. I'm turning off my heat. Voila, there is a delicious stir fry in about 15 minutes. This can go over rice for you if you'd like, or we can create a lo mein. So I think we're gonna take this to the next step today. I have here just some basic spaghetti noodles that I've cooked ahead of time, cooled, put a little oil in, so they're set and ready to go. This is how easy a lo mein or a ramen noodle can be to create. So this is hot. I have my heat off right now, so this isn't continuing to cook. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of these noodles and toss them right into this stir fry. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now I'm gonna want more sauce than this. So I have two options. I can continue to use the stir fry seasoning that we have, but it may get a little bit salty. I can serve this just as is. See, it's nice and rich, nice and thick, not too soupy. This, to me, is exactly how I would like to serve this. This is dinner. Dan, does this look like dinner to you? It looks like dinner to me. So this is how easy a simple stir fry would be. I also have right next to me here, I have some vegetable stock. If you would like to take and make this more of a soup or a ramen noodle style, all you'd have to do is take and add a little bit of vegetable stock to this, and it becomes a delicious ramen style dinner. I'm gonna take a little bit out right here. What a coincidence that I have a Chinese style takeout container here to serve this up in, to show you how you can make a delicious, fresh and delicious Chinese takeout dinner from your home, from scratch. Eat up.